Hello and welcome to City Connections. Today I have with me Sergeant Bobby Lips, and we would like to do a little explaining of what community policing does for our city and some of the activities and programs that they have and that they offer. So Bobby, I'll let you start out by explaining what your office does here for the City of Richmond.
Well, what our office does is Dinah Whitehead and I, we are the community policing office for the Richmond Police Department, the citizens, and of course neighborhoods of Richmond. And what we try to do is we try to be the liaison between the police department and the various organizations that are out there, and we just try to handle little problems that crop up or anything that the neighborhoods need in a way of community policing, or maybe a small police problem that we can handle up here. We try to handle that for them.
So it really means you're out in the neighborhoods walking quite a bit?
Weather permitting, yes.
One-on-one with the citizens, and which is always great.
Sure, we try to get out there and meet the citizens, because that's really the only way that you're going to find out really any problems. You can try all the mail outs that you want and phone calls and things, but when you get out there on one-on-one basis and just start talking to people, you find out things, and that's what we look forward to, finding out what's going on.
You do a great job. I know I'm on the Neighborhood Services Clearinghouse, and you come to all the meetings, and the presidents keep you informed on what's happening in their neighborhoods. And,
oh, they sure do.
And you're really good about responding to that, and we do appreciate that. You have several programs that you offer through your community policing outfit. Can you kind of name a few of those?
Well, we have the Citizens Police Academy, and then we have the Explorers Post, which that's about 5 years old, I believe, and we've been trying to incorporate more kids into that want to be law enforcement related, maybe want to be law enforcement officers. But our Citizens Academy, that is a big plus for the city, because like we say, we like for the citizens of Richmond to come to our classes and see what their Richmond Police Department's about, because like I say, we're here to protect and serve, but they need to know what we do, protect and serve them.
How it gets done.
Yeah.
I noticed one of the first things when I came into office as mayor a couple years ago, had a lot of calls from people, complaints against the police department. And when you bring them in, and the chief would always meet with me with the individuals, and once they found out exactly what police or the city could do, it was kind of a different story. Sometimes it's, we help correct things when we can, but we always are not allowed to do what everyone wants us to do. So.
Oh yes, definitely. There's some people, they tend to forget sometimes that there's laws out there that mandate what police can and cannot do, and we just can't take the law into our own hands, and they can't either. So sometimes it's frustrating for them.
Well, one of the things we really like to touch base about today is the Citizens Academy that's going to start. And I believe the next program starts in March.
Yeah, it starts March 21st and ends on Tuesday, June the 6th. It's a 12-week program, and it's about 2, maybe 3 hours long.
Each evening?
On Tuesday nights. And it's where citizens can come in and learn about what their police department does.
I was amazed. I took the program about 4 years ago. It was the first year that you did it. And I having been on council 15, 16 years at the time, I was amazed what I learned after going through the process. So it's very interesting, and it's very rewarding, because you can also help then in your neighborhoods more.
Yeah, I had my wife and one of my sons have taken it, and now my other son is going to sign up for it as soon as he knows what his classes are out at IUEs. Several of my wife's family have taken the classes, and because they're interested to see what it's about. So it's definitely a worthwhile program that we have.
There's no cost?
It's free. Just all it's cost you is your time and effort.
And then we even have an organization or a group of VIPs afterwards that can help throughout the city at different events and stuff to help the officers.
Sure. After an individual graduates from our Citizens Academy, they have the opportunity to join our VIP, which is Volunteers in Police. And they really get to see a more detailed inner workings aspect of the Richmond Police Department. They can maybe get down in the mud a little bit where the patrol officers are at, and actually be out there, taking reports, patrolling parks for us, other little things that we can allow them to do without putting them, real harm.
Right. I know several of our younger participants are interested in becoming officers, and they've taken this, and now they're helping and getting a lot of valuable information and on-the-job training for when they do turn 21 and can sign up to be on the force. So
Yes, we've
for
had,
young
yeah.
people out there, it would be interesting for you to go through it also.
We've had several, I think at least 2 of our Citizens Academy apply for the department, and they're on a waiting list, and hopefully someday they'll get to be RPD officers.
You find some money, we might be able to do
Okay.
that. Let's kind of go week by week and explain what they're going to learn or be exposed to in this.
Basically, what will happen is we're going to have our, the first night will be March 21st, and it goes from 6 to about 9:30. So the time is can fluctuate there a little bit. But basically, that'll be our night where the folks will come in. They'll be introduced to the chief and the majors, and learn who Dinah Whitehead and I are, and then we'll go into what community policing is, and then really they get a chance to go over to what we call our EOC, which is the Emergency Operations Center, which is the dispatch center for all of Wayne County, Richmond and the county sheriff's department, and then all the little small communities around around Wayne County, and fire, rescue, and police, and they're really amazed when they get to see how much equipment's there and what it costs to run that and replace it.
What they're paying for too, because on their phone bills, each month, each month some of that goes toward that.
Especially that enhanced 911 that we have, that has been a lifesaver numerous times. You just cannot imagine how much that helps the police department.
What do we do on our second week?
Well, our second week we're going to have what we call our SIU, which is our Special Investigative Unit, and that deals mostly with our narcotics, that illegal narcotics that are out in our community, and that's our drug task force. And them folks, they really work hard to get narcotics off of the street, and they also do some education, and we try to help them as much as possible, because we understand that how drugs can start a young person on the downhill, and it just affects their life a whole bunch. So then we have what we call our prescription drug abuse, and Detective John Chillicote, he is a master in that type of crime, and he has had several legislation bills passed reference prescription drugs, and he has been well recognized for that, and he is an authority on it, and they will really find out that what prescription medications and how people forge prescriptions. It is just amazing to listen to him tell about that.
This is all valuable information, not just so that you can go out and cure the city of all the drug problems, but that you can help in your own household and in your neighborhoods.
Sure.
You know what to watch for when there's drug houses. You know what to watch for in your children and your neighbors' children if they are on drugs, right?
Well, Lieutenant Perfidio, who's in charge of the drug task force, he will tell you what a quote crack house is. Mm-hmm. If somebody new moves into the neighborhood, what you need to look for, and how you can be of help to us. You know, we don't want that individual out there busting people.
And it's in every neighborhood. It's not just in, quote, poor neighborhoods. It's not. In every neighborhood.
Anytime somebody wants to move in and set up a crack house, they can do it until the neighbors get together and decide, well, we don't want that here. Mm-hmm. Let's get involved. Like I say, we're not asking people to make the arrest, go up there and talk to them. That's our job. And, you know, we're not afraid to do it at all. So.
Oh, and then the third week is a lot of fun. It's a little physically active.
Yeah, we have three defensive tactics. They're now called PPCTs. That's pressure point control tactics that police officers are taught to use so they can de-escalate a situation very quick on the street. And our Citizen Academy members are going to get to really beat up on the
that was my favorite part.
Yeah, we have what we call a red man suit that our officers will put on, and they will show the citizens how to strike somebody without injuring them, the proper way to do it, and that helps a lot, because you know not every situation do you have to draw your weapon and use it. There's a lot of means before you draw your weapon to get somebody to comply with your request to stop fighting, surrender, put their hands up, whatever you want them to do, other than just pulling your gun and going there. So we have Officer Tim Davis and Detective Tom Laguerre, and then Captain Truitt. We always like to have her there because she is very, very vocal and physical. She loves getting her hands dirty, and she don't mind being used as a punching bag. So.
I think one of the best things about it was, though, that the first thing you learn is you don't always have to be aggressive. You know, when you first get in the confrontational situation, a lot of times if you just remain calm, now it doesn't always work.
That's right.
Because a lot of people just know constant yelling and screaming and cussing and whatever. But a lot of times if you remain calm, they'll kind of look at you like, you know, what's the problem here? So
well, that's one
yelling
thing,
isn't always the best thing. So.
That's one thing they teach us in the academy when we go as recruits up there, that, you know, if somebody's fighting and we're just yelling at each other and stuff, it doesn't do you any good to go in there and start yelling at them, because they're not going to listen to you. You try to remain calm.
You can't always do that.
You can't always do that, but most of the time, if you remain calm and tell everybody, please, you know, just be quiet, let's work this problem out, they'll just simply stop yelling and then let you and your partner try to work the problem out. So.
In our fourth week, we're going to learn patrol techniques. Is that when they sign up to go riding?
Not quite. What happens is we have one of our officers comes in and tells how he or she will start their day, the preparation for coming on duty, and how they get their mindset ready for 8 hours of patrol duty. Some things that maybe the citizens of Richmond don't understand is that police officers are human beings. When we have a bad day at home, we try to leave it at home, but you can't. And so sometimes you'll bring that problem with you to work, and you're thinking about that, and sometimes it's just very hard to, like I say, leave that at home and try to handle your job out here. And most of the time, if you can talk to your fellow officers, and, you know, I got a real problem at home today, I may not be all there, we'll watch out for each other, and just because that's what it is, it's safety. So, and then that officer safety is just what every officer can do in and out of that police car to protect themselves, because that police car is a weapon as well as a barricade if you needed it. So we just need to be aware of what our patrol cars are and what officers can do when they're out in the public, because not everybody likes this.
You do a good job. So. And the next time we're going to do investigations.
Yeah, that's where we have, Detective Raver's been doing that for us, and he's been in investigations for 20, 25 years, and he is very, very knowledgeable in that area of investigation, and they'll get to see various crimes that have been committed by people here in Richmond, some pretty gory crime scene photos and some video, and he'll talk about how he solved them crimes. He's our rape investigator, and how he solved one of our major rape cases that we had years and years ago, and he's just very knowledgeable about that. And you find that very interesting, how when there is a crime committed, unlike CSI and Law and Order, it doesn't.
They get it done the same night.
Oh, yes, you know, it's just like they think, you know, in 60 minutes you can have this crime solved. But we always talk about DNA. DNA is great, and you can really exonerate or convict somebody on DNA, but you're not going to get it back in a 60-minute time. It may take months for DNA to come back to say, yes, that's the suspect, or no, that's not the suspect. And that sometimes, you know, that's hard for people to understand. Well, get DNA. Sure, we can get DNA, but it's finding the folks to test it, because there's only so many labs in America, and then we have to send all it off. And that's what we try to tell our Citizens Academy, that, you know, just because it's on TV, that's Hollywood.
Well, I know Richmond is no different than any other small Midwestern town or any town in the country that rumors get started. Well, you know, so-and-so did it. We know that. Why aren't you arresting them? But you do have to have everything in place before you make an arrest.
Sure. We have the same equipment that you'll see on CSI and Law and Order to do the investigative part of that, it just doesn't get done in 60 minutes. That's what we always try to tell our Citizens Academy, anybody out on the street.
And then the next week is our Canine Unit.
Right,
traffic.
we usually have a couple dogs come in. We have 3 dogs on the department, and about 2 of them will come in, and they'll just show how they apprehend. We don't like to use the word attack because that sounds vicious, I guess, in the nature. So it's always apprehend somebody, a suspect, or search for kids or anybody that's lost. And I know that when I had my dog, we never had to have a bite, but we was able to 27 times have a suspect surrender.
Wow.
Just because that dog was there. And several times it was people with weapons, and they would rather face you than they would the dog. So that dog has helped the citizens of Richmond immensely.
Those are all donated too.
Yeah, it doesn't cost the department anything. The various organizations around Richmond, if we want one, we just go ask for the money, and our dog food is donated by Hills, and the veterinarian's taken care of, and really it's just the officer's time to clean up
There's
after
a lot
enough.
of training that goes with it.
Yeah,
too.
it's a 5-week course, a minimum 5 weeks, and the dog gets almost a year's worth of training. The officer gets 5 weeks with the dog at a certified kennel, and then they come back and they're on the street for 7, 8, 9 years. It could be, because you don't have to work the dogs as much when you got 2 other dogs.
Good.
Then we got that traffic division. That's where they'll come in and actually put a traffic problem up on the board where you might have had a fatality and want to know how fast somebody was going, and they said they were only doing 30 when they could have actually been doing 60, 65, or 70 miles an hour. And it's a lot of math involved in that, but they get to see what we have to go through, the training that the traffic officers have to solve that type of case or crime.
There's always 2 sides to everything. Isn't
Sure
there?
is. Their side and our side. Yeah.
Well, then we go to bike patrol and corrections.
Right. Officer Aaron Stevens in charge of our bike patrol, and that's something that was started about 7, 8 years ago maybe, and it's just another way of getting out there and trying to connect with the citizens of Richmond, because when I say the old days, back in the 50s and 60s, you had officers walking the street, and they knew everybody. And then, of course, as cities got bigger and even Richmond and crime got up, they started putting them in patrol cars, and you lose that personal touch.
Right.
Well, when you're out there walking, that's great, but when you're on that bike, that's even greater because now you're getting hold of kids, and because they love to see the police bikes, the siren and the lights on it. And when you have good officers like Aaron Stevens, who's willing to share his love for bikes with the kids and put on bike safety patrols, it's just wonderful.
Right.
Then we have the corrections part. That's where actually you get to go over to our new jail over there and see what that new jail's like. It is state of the art. It's modern.
And you still don't want to be there.
Right. It's I'm just
It's
amazed.
a jail.
That jail cost a few $1 million, and the kitchen alone was over $1 million. I mean, it is state of the art kitchen, everything. The cells, the pods and everything. So they get to see what jail's like, hear them bars close. I used to work over there. I worked over there for 10 years prior to coming to RPD, and always liked putting the people inside the cell, one of the private cells downstairs, and locking the door on them, say, this is where you stay 24 hours a day or 23 and a half hours a day, because you only get out and take a shower for half an hour. So think what it's like, to lose your freedom for 23 and a half hours a day. It's bad.
Then we have water rescue.
Right, we have the water rescue and dive team. Several years ago, there was a young child drowned after we had a severe rainstorm, and we couldn't save the child. The child's grandfather donated several $1,000s, and we started outfitting a water rescue. And along with the fire department and us, officers received training, received equipment, and now we can respond to any type of water problem. Hopefully we can get there before somebody else would perish, but if we can't, at least we can recover the individual for the family, and it's important. But they get to put on the equipment, and they get to go into the pool, and they get to see what a diver has to wear to,
Yeah.
and they tell about little stories, they kind of things they see down in the water, some big fish. So, yeah.
In the pool?
Yeah, well, not in the pool, but some of the water they've been in, some of the fish will come up to them, yeah.
Now the next one. This
Okay.
probably was my favorite.
Here's where the individuals, what we call the firearms, our class gets to go down to our FOP at the firing range, and they get to fire every one of our weapons.
I never hit anything.
Well, you didn't have the right weapon, you need a machine gun.
Yeah, really. A
They
bigger
get
thing.
they shoot our 45s, they shoot our shotguns, and they get to shoot our submachine guns. And they
Oh,
get
I
to
didn't get to do that.
well, that's when you went through, they didn't have them. And
better
now
go
they
back again.
Maybe you better come back for a refresher course. But they get to fire if they want to. They don't have to, but if they want to fire, they get to fire it on automatic, and it's just especially for the guys, it's a lot of fun. And a few times after the women get done, they really enjoyed that, and they want to do it again. But you only get one shot at it. So,
Yeah.
and then we have while that's going on. Down at the range, up at the FOP, we have our field exercises. That's where the officer gets to be, where the citizen gets to be a police officer. How would you handle this problem? And that's what it is.
Is that where we talked about how you walk around the car and
Walk around a car, how you
Protect
approach your car,
yourself
protect
and-
yourself, how do you stand,
it's amazing.
things like that.
Okay, and our crime scene investigation fingerprints? That's pretty
Right,
self-explanatory.
that's something like CSI, and that's where we have a couple of detectives who are in charge of the crime scene. They come in, they show you how to lift prints, what to look for in clues, how to raise blood stains, just little things like that you really don't get to see on a TV show.
And our SWAT team is one whole evening?
Yep, well, SWAT team will come out and they will just show you how to, they'll show you what SWAT does, and you just have to see that. They show you how our sniper handles a situation and some of the training.
We're
they
very
do.
fortunate in the city of Richmond to have the professionalism that we do in our police department, because we have a lot of different subdivisions that do extra pretty phenomenal things.
Yeah, we sure do, Mary. It's like anything, we have a good police department. There's always room for improvement, and, we strive to do that. So.
And on our very last evening, you'll get to go through the Juvenile Division.
Right. Juvenile, Officer Rick Thalls, who's in charge of the juvenile, he's over at the high school, but he'll bring in all his collection of weapons that he has taken off kids that they have brought to school
Amazing.
over 18 years that he's been there, and talk about juvenile problems, what to look for, and then we have our graduation party. We eat a bunch of cake and ice cream, and it's good. But I would like to say how you sign up for our Citizens Academy. Basically, you can contact Dinah Whitehead at 983-7203. That's during the daytime, Monday through Friday, and we're more than willing to get you registered. And you have to be at least 18 years old, and just be willing to participate in there.
They'll really enjoy it. It's amazing what they will learn, and the time goes by very quickly. It's not like you're just sitting in a classroom for 3 hours a night. It's an active participation.
Yeah.
So
It does no good just to sit down there and listen to somebody speak, so we try to get them interactive with the officers and actually hands-on, and that's what we try to do with these classes.
And once again, this academy is not so that you're going to come to become a police officer. It's so that you know more about what you can do to
Yeah.
help in your neighborhood, in your family's settings and situation. And I think you'll really enjoy it.
Would like to say, Mayor, that one of the other benefits is that they get to do a ride-along after they graduate for about 4 or 5 hours on the shift, and they get to ride with the police officer, get to ask questions. The officer explain why they did this, why they didn't do that, how we interpret the law, how we can help that on a certain call or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you make the arrest? Well, and things like that, so they get to know what goes on.
I think, like I say, the citizens who have taken it in the past have truly enjoyed it, and I know that you out there that are thinking about it, you will gain a lot from it, and hopefully you'll be more involved in the community once you're done, because I don't know if you can scan the pictures on the wall of some of the things this office does. They go to all the community events. They're very helpful, and they're just getting to know people, so we appreciate that. Sergeant Bobby Lips, I certainly appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
we'd be remiss if we don't once again mention Diane Whitehead, because she is kind of your partner in crime and keeps you on your toes, and that's a big job for her.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So once again, thank you for watching our City Connections, and we'll see you again next month.